All right. So recently, Scott Bessent, he is President-elect Donald Trump's announced. He is the Secretary of the Treasury for Trump's second administration. He recently testified before Congress, and in that testimony, he stated that the U.S. economy growth was about 4.1% over the past 3 quarters. This growth is significantly higher than Europe's reported 0.3% growth. Bessett attributed this acceleration to current economic policies and the administration's effort to reverse years of high inflation that has affected working families. The U.S. economy's performance has been a topic of discussion, especially in light of the longest government shutdown in history. Yada yada yada. So I was reading that the 4.1% growth, but I remember seeing something about unemployment still going up. And when I went to check BSL.gov looking for unemployment, and we are still on an upward trajectory for unemployment, which is, well, right now it's at 4.4 or 4.5. And so basically, the economy is going up, and so is unemployment going up. I remember reading that that's referred to as a jobless recovery. And a jobless recovery is an economic situation where the economy begins to improve after a recession, but employment levels do not increase or may even decline. Granted, I don't know if we went through a recession in the past couple quarters, but so, uh, jobless recovery. It is what it is for now. Um, at least for me, there's a couple things that kind of like reason why we have growth, even though we have increased unemployment. Might one of them might have to do with the like we're like there's less reliance on government spending and more on the private sector, like with Trump removing a bunch of tax programs that you know uh, go to like museums or stuff like that. Money goes overseas. A lot of that's getting cut. U.S. AID, all that's getting cut, and it's now falling back onto the producers. That's one theory I have for the 4.1%. Another thing another thing, it kind of goes with the whole jobless recovery is the constant swinging of tariffs going back and forth. Tariffs, in my opinion, I don't entirely hate tariffs. Like, I don't think they're bad. If they were a bad thing, other countries would be using them against us. But my problem with tariffs is one, the extra tax goes on to the buyers because there's not competition here. Like when during the 90s and 2000s, when we kept sending our production companies our production like across the border, across the ocean, that means there's less people here getting jobs. And when we put in tariffs, because we've stopped producing a lot of stuff here, now there's no competition. So there's no incentive for the companies that are overseas to absorb those tariffs and put on themselves to compete with American companies. There's no company there are American companies to compete with. Well, there is, but on a lesser scale. So it's there's no incentive. So it just pushes their tariffs back onto us. Um, Another thing that I was looking up that might explain the 4.1% growth, but still increase in the unemployment is the excessive use of AI. There's a lot of no doubt there's a lot of AI being used recently, especially in the past. I would say here 3 months to a year. And the thing about AI and machines and computers in general is that they can increase productivity while decreasing the amount of labor needed. So those are just a couple things that could explain the growth. And for me, I was really looking at the unemployment as well. That's what got me thinking about it in in this way. Thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting position. I think like I don't know, some of the job stuff, the jobs report delayed again, which is obviously kind of concerning. But with the 4.1% growth, I thought I could be wrong. I'm looking around for it right now, but I thought I read somewhere that a lot of so GDP, I think by corporate valuations. So like if NVIDIA, because of the boom of the usage of GPUs to run LLMs, goes from a company that's worth, say, $1 billion to companies. Like that valuation is added to I think that's added to the US GDP. Um, so like if let's say, the total GDP is like dollars or yeah, let's say it's $1 trillion is the US's total GDP. It's way higher than that, but let's just assume it's like 4 trillion or 1 trillion. And the AI market, due to recent advancements, the valuation of some of the largest players go from a total of, you know, 1 billion to 4 billion, right? Or 100 billion to 400 billion. Then all of a sudden, like the market has grown, but it's really because it's like a big perspective market. Um, we're analyzing data or value that hasn't been realized as of yet. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely good that the market is still growing. People are still spending relatively healthily. Um, like everything afloat. If people are spending money, you want money moving through the system.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as people start to like pull money out of the system, things start to. But a lot of this can probably. To me, the most compelling argument here is that a lot of it is down to the AI market, sort of like just getting bigger as a portion of the overall economy, where previously companies like Anthropic or um, OpenAI just weren't that big of players. If they're suddenly becoming like bigger and bigger and bigger players, I wouldn't be surprised if like the US's total GDP wasn't affected by that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think I've been trying to look it up. I can't see it. I remember Trump saying that he was either like cutting taxes when it comes to companies that are focused on AI, or he's going to give funding to companies that are like focused on AI. I believe I'm trying to
Yeah,
find it, but I can't find it here. And
I think I remember something on that as well.
yeah, that probably contributes to the whole like Nvidia and other chip making companies that are like, we're gonna stop producing RAM and chips for like gamers, and we're gonna be focusing all of the stuff onto AI.
Hmm.
So that's probably again another example. Again, it's
Hmm.
the whole AI increases productivity while decreasing labor needed for a similar output.
Hmm.
And let's see, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look for it. I thought they said AI funding. Yeah, this is just AP News. President Trump on Tuesday, I'm not even sure if it was Tuesday, talked up a joint venture investing up to $500 billion for infrastructure tied to artificial intelligence. So, and that's another thing. Like, I keep seeing these things like AIs might be taking our jobs, kind of stuff, blah blah blah, and I'm wishy washy on it. I really am, because I remember reading somewhere in like the early like 1900s, the people, specifically Spain, I think it was in Spain, that they were having a similar like idea, but it was with the invention of the sewing machine, like an automated sewing machine, and people were like they would destroy like sewing machine factories because they thought they would be taking our jobs.
Hmm.
And I feel like we might be. I think we're having an AI bubble for sure. We can get back to that in a bit. But another thing, like, it's easy to think that AI is going to take people's jobs, and it probably will. But I think with a similar situation with like again, I can only think of the sewing machines. Is that like there are now more shirts and clothing being made now than there were 100 years ago. So I think with the
Mm-hmm.
whole like AI taking our jobs, I think that's like a like yes, it's scary now, but it's also one of those like, well, what can it create to help people get jobs? You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
again, I think we're in an AI bubble because I'm seeing this like when I look at the history of like stocks and bullshit like that. I say bullshit, but like with the dot com bubble.
I know what you mean.
So when it came to like the dot com bubble, what happened was, and this is according to a Yale professor, was people would because companies that had websites, their stocks would do well. So when people started making businesses, a lot of them were just like, let's just make our business a website, not like an actual business that has a website, but our business is the website. And then a bunch of
Yep.
investors would start investing into the website, and stock would go up, and so on and so forth, until eventually people realized that, well, these websites are just websites. And then boom, we had the
Yeah.
2001 .com bubble, and I think we're starting to see the same thing here with with AI. Like again, Trump just said that he's talking up people or whatever. $500 billion in investing into companies that do AI, and it's like, okay, AI with what? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff you can do with AI. Tim
Yep.
Pool just showed a video today about he made a video game out for with Google's AI or Gemini or something. Like, now granted, it's
Mm-hmm.
like it ran like 20 frames a second, and he was the only character, but it made a video game in a relatively short amount of time. But there's that, and then something about Nvidia talking to Anna's library. You know what Anna's library is?
Uh, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the illegal like archive. But Nvidia was talking to
Mm-hmm.
them. They're like, yeah, we know we're gonna break the law, but we're gonna see how far we can get with it. Please feed us that information. You know. So
Mm-hmm.
where's that money going? Does that make sense? It just seems like we're just throwing
Yeah.
money at AI and kind of hoping for the best. And while it's cool that Gemini or whatever it was can make a video game, I'm still seeing AI with people with six fingers.
Yeah.
It's been like 2 years. But so now granted I do think AI is going to significantly improve, but I think what's going to happen is kind of like the dot com bubble, and I've been talking, you know me, I've been talking about this for years. Like we're going to hit a point where people realize that AI probably isn't doing as much as we think it is. Now granted, I don't know what my company does with AI, if they even use AI, but when I use AI, it's just asking questions that I probably could look at on Google. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure because of like Nvidia's got like they got AI programs for upscaling and frame insertion. But if we're throwing $500 billion, and that's just one little thing, one little talk, $500 billion into just AI, it
Right.
it's like
Like if I'm making like a program that's just like a ChatGPT plugin, right? Where I'm like, all right, my whole business model is I use a ChatGPT clone to better conduct B2B SAS negotiations. Like, do I count as an AI company? Do I get a piece of that pie? Because I managed to make something that is technically AI, right? I'm using a ChatGPT clone to conduct blah 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 blah. It's like, well, hold on, is this helping anything? Is this like, are we getting meaningfully better, or like, I wonder if we're gonna see some companies pop up that are AI in really big air quotes, but not AI from the perspective of developing new language models or new like computational things, but rather like tiny like small startups whose whole goal is to sort of bite off a piece of that pie by saying, well, we're an AI startup and we like to focus on um, chatbot assistance acquisition for delivery and customer face for delivery and other customer facing apps. It's like, wait, so your chatbot helps them decide what chatbot to get? Like, what? Did you make this chatbot? Well, yeah. Okay, show me your process. So we took this ChatGPT 4.0 clone and whoa. Huh? Well, yeah, but then we fed it this small local corpus of data and it runs and did a lot of prompt engineering and it runs on that. It's like, okay, so you're not really an AI company. You're you're basically a fraud. Like you're not actually developing any new technology. You're just taking something that like most people could theoretically do. Like your value add here is effectively non-existent. You're sort of you're building a middleman to do your middlemaning and then getting paid for it.
Yeah, and getting funding because you have a middleman.
Yeah, right. And then you're taking a bite of like a really of a pie that was theoretically sort of intended to be for like, hey, this is for the development of, programs that can help better detect like different forms of breast cancer or, programs that can better detect um or programs that can be used to like more effectively and efficiently write computer code or programs that can be used to uh do insert thing that is more useful than B2B, SAS, chatbot, decision protocol, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that, and my thing is like, so like AI isn't like it's been around for a while, obviously. And another thing that this kind of brings up because I was watching a video on I think it was Ordinary Gamers today about like how like artificial intelligence works, at least in the way we see it, is that it's not like really finding you an answer. It's just finding you what is like it starts making a sentence for your answer, and whatever is most likely to appear next is what it's going to
Hmm.
draw upon, something like that. So it's not like it's not it doesn't really seem like it's thinking for itself. Like it's AI. It only outputs what you input it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
It's
this
yeah.
and this caused and like now granted it was a short crash, but there was a stock market crash because of an AI system that did something similar. So everyone has stock and then they had an AI assistant. Now, when a stock goes down and it looks like it's projected to go down, most people would be like, "Okay, I'll sell." Some people would be like, "I'll hold." Well, this whole there's a like a bunch of people in their portfolios. It was run by AI, and once they saw like a stock go down, it was like, okay, well, it's time to sell. Well, it wasn't just one guy. It was an
It was
entire,
everyone.
yeah, it was everyone. So then everyone sold, and it dropped the price of the stock by like 95%, when in actuality, it probably would have dropped like maybe one or two.
Yeah.
So it went down, and then because it's down, it went back up again because the AI is like, oh, well, penny stock,
Right.
it might go
Right.
up.
Easy volatility to get into here.
Yeah, and so
Oh,
when
the
I
stock is rising. It'll probably continue to rise. Let me buy
yeah,
in.
let's buy more. And it's so when granted I use AI to ask questions or stuff, but it has a tendency to give me some wrong answers.
Mm.
Like I remember this was like a week after the first Trump assassination, like a year like 2 years ago. Wow, 2 years. And
Right.
it was like 2 weeks after, and you could ask any of the AI models, and they would tell you, no, he didn't get shot. He wasn't shot
Hmm.
at. There was no assassination attempt. And it's like, and then you yourself, me, you would have to feed it articles for it to be like, oh yeah, well I guess it did happen. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying we're not making significant advances in AI, but dumping $500 billion into it, into just AI instead of like more chips, companies that actually code AI. It seems like again, I think we're heading towards the an AI bubble.
Hmm.
And
No, I agree.
yeah, and so with the whole like, but back to the whole 4.1% uh like growth in the economy. Like one thing that this is going to be a little segue. Like 15 to 18% of GDP is construction, finance, and related services to housing. And that'll lead us straight into